right, today we are diving into the incredibly high-stakes world of aviation. It's an industry built on precision, on safety, and above all, on trust. But we're going to explore how a truly revolutionary technology is set to redefine all three of those things by creating what's essentially a digital ledger for the skies. I mean, really think about this question. This is what keeps airline executives and safety regulators up at night. Every single flight you take relies on this global supply chain of just staggering complexity. Making sure every single component is authentic, that every maintenance check is logged perfectly, and that every bit of data is secure, well, that's one of the biggest challenges in any industry anywhere.
And this isn't just some theoretical problem, The industry is betting big, and I mean big, on a solution. The market for blockchain and aviation was already worth almost $700 million in 2023, and it's projected to soar to $1.5 billion by 2030. So yeah, this is not a fad, it's a fundamental shift, and there's massive investment behind it.
So to really get our heads around this, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll dig into the big problems that blockchain is trying to solve here. Then we'll get into what this digital ledger actually is. We'll see how it locks down an aircraft from the factory floor to the runway, look at how it's used beyond the plane itself, and then, we have to take a realistic look at the hurdles that are still on the way.
Okay, let's start with the core issue. The aviation industry has been struggling for years with challenges that are, honestly, just perfect targets for disruption. Things like counterfeit parts, total data chaos, and a serious lack of transparency.
You look at this list and you see how it's all connected, right? The risk of a counterfeit part sneaking into the supply chain, that is a direct threat to safety. I mean, a single fake bolt could literally be the difference between a routine flight and a catastrophe. And that risk just gets bigger when data is locked away in all these separate, siloed systems. For decades, the whole industry has run on paper logbooks that can get lost, damaged, or even faked. It all just boils down to one thing. There is no single, shared source of truth that everyone, from the part manufacturer to the mechanic on the ground, can absolutely trust.
So, how do you fix a problem of trust? Well, you build a system where trust is basically guaranteed by math. And this is exactly where blockchain, the digital ledger, steps onto the scene.
Now, forget all the crypto hype for a second. At its heart, a blockchain is actually pretty simple. It's a shared database that is incredibly difficult, almost impossible, to change. The best way to think of it is like a digital birth certificate for an airplane part. Once that certificate is created, it follows that part for its entire life. Every single thing that happens to it, every inspection, every repair, every flight hour, is added as a permanent, unchangeable entry. And because it's decentralized, no single company owns it. Everyone in the network shares and validates it together.
So here's how that journey works. A part gets made. Boom. A digital record is logged. That record is then sealed up in a cryptographic block and permanently attached to a chain of all the previous blocks, creating this unbreakable history. But here's the key. All the authorized partners, the airline, the maintenance crew, the regulator, can see this exact same verified history all in real time. There are just no more shadowy corners for errors or fraud to hide in.
Okay, with that foundation laid, let's look at the first and maybe the most critical application, securing the aircraft itself, from the tiny parts that build it to the crucial records that keep it flying safely.
You can really see the before and after here, can't you? Old-school paper logs get replaced with a single source of truth. The terrifyingly high risk of fake parts is met with instant verification. And those vulnerable paper logbooks, they become unchangeable digital records. And this isn't just a theory. Air France-KLM actually put a blockchain platform into use to track parts on their Boeing 787 fleet, giving them a complete back-to-birth history for every single component.
And the impact on safety is just, well, it's profound. Honeywell Aerospace reported that through its blockchain trading platform, one major aircraft manufacturer was able to slash incidents of counterfeit parts by over 60%. That is a staggering improvement that has a direct, real-world impact on the safety of every single passenger.
But the impact of blockchain doesn't just stop at the hangar door. Not at all. This technology is actually starting to streamline the entire aviation ecosystem, from how cargo gets moved around the world to how we track our environmental impact.
And the efficiency gains here are pretty huge. According to research from IATA, blockchain systems can cut cargo administration costs by up to 40%. I mean, just imagine the mountains of paperwork that simply vanish. It can also cut processing time by half. And for us, as passengers, pilot programs have shown a 30% drop in check-in times by creating secure, portable digital IDs. It all just makes the entire experience of flying smoother, faster, and cheaper. Blockchain is also tackling a very modern problem, sustainability. So Sustainable Aviation Fuel, or SAF, is a huge deal for decarbonization, but it often just gets mixed into the general fuel supply at an airport. So how does an airline prove it actually used its share? The solution is this really clever book and claim system. Blockchain creates a digital token for every gallon of SAF. An airline can buy that token to claim the environmental credit, even if the physical fuel is used by a different plane. And the blockchain guarantees that token can't be sold or claimed twice. Pretty smart, right?
Okay, but it's not all smooth skies. No technological revolution ever is. For all its promise, blockchain is not a magic bullet, and the path to seeing it everywhere in aviation is definitely filled with some pretty big hurdles.
And these barriers are not small. First, you've got the high upfront costs just to get the systems built. Then you have the absolutely monumental task of connecting this new tech with legacy systems that might be decades old. It's like trying to connect a brand new smartphone to an old rotary phone. On top of that, the industry still doesn't have a single agreed-upon standard, so different companies are building in different ways. And the regulators? They're still trying to figure out how to even approach all of this. And finally, there's the massive question of scalability. Can these networks really handle the insane volume of data that aviation generates every single second?
Right, to put that speed challenge into perspective, the Bitcoin network handles what? About 3 transactions per second. Now compare that to the thousands of events, parts moving, planes taking off, bags being scanned, happening every single moment in aviation. The tech has a long way to go to keep up.
And we have some real-world cautionary tales here. Winding Tree was a blockchain travel platform that even partnered with major airlines like Lufthansa and Air France, but it shut down operations in 2024. It's a super important reminder that even the coolest technology can fail if it doesn't get industry-wide buy-in and actually solve a problem that businesses can easily adopt.
But despite those hurdles, the focus is still intense. This chart shows us where the money and the effort were being spent in 2024. The biggest slice, over 60%, was on the transactions themselves, making things like tracking and payments better. And the next biggest driver, at over 37%, was the airlines. So this tells us that the core players are actively investing in this to improve their most fundamental operations.
So what's the bottom line here? Let's sum it up. 1, blockchain creates that single trusted source of truth we've been talking about. 2, it dramatically improves safety by fighting fake parts. 3, it boosts efficiency pretty much everywhere, in cargo, maintenance, and for passengers. But 4, and this is a big one, while adoption is growing, those significant hurdles like cost, standards, and speed still need to be overcome.
Which really brings us to our final question. We've seen the incredible potential, and we've seen the serious challenges. So is this technology truly becoming the new foundational bedrock for a safer, more efficient aviation industry? Or are all these obstacles just a sign of more turbulence to come? The next few years are really going to tell us if this digital ledger is truly cleared for takeoff.